My name is Jay Howard from Auction House London. I'm the auction manager. I'm also an investor, property investor. I've been for 15 years. I narrowly missed out on the National Development Summit 2018. I've been looking at increasing my knowledge and understanding and skills in developments because I do very, very small kind of extension-y work or things like that, which is not really a developer, so I'd like to branch out. I like my mixed-use properties, so I'm looking at doing maybe more permitted development stuff or commercial property conversions, and this is just a boiling pot of a place just to meet people, like-minded people, or people who are industry professionals, or just people who are doing this on a regular basis that I can just connect with, meet, maybe take for a coffee at another time, but also talk about what it is that they do and just learn. And it's interesting because I go to a lot of property events. I go to a lot of Brendan's events. So the Wandsworth I do the auction update for. I've done the auction update at Central London Property Meet as well before. But I've never been to well, I think this is more like a mainline event that he does, which is interesting because I wouldn't consider myself anywhere near a developer, but it's good to be around these people because not only are they developers, but they're also property investors as well. So it's a really good segue. It's a really good conversation to have because you have that in common. Like, oh, return on investment or yields and this, that, and the other. It's common language that you can use and talk about. But with the added bonus of little nuggets of information about developments as well, which is, for me, that's the main value. That's why I'm here. So I'm obviously in auctions. A lot of my investments are bought and sold through auctions and things like that. So I'm writing a book from an auction insider perspective, but I'm co-authoring it with an auction pro. So this is someone who will be buying and selling through auctions autonomously. His name is Piotr Ryzynek. We're co-authoring it together. It's taken us about 4 months to get it across the line. It's now with the publishers, they're editing it. It should be available by the end of March, which will be fantastic. It's called Before the Hammer Falls, an insider's guide to property auctions. And something I'm very excited about because the education on auctions is very, very limited. There's not like courses you can go to like for developments or HMOs or service companies, the things that are very popular and doing well at the moment. But auctions for me is still something, it's a very, very viable entry and exit strategy for any property professional. So I think hopefully it'll add a lot of value to a lot of people. Predictions for 2019, we are recording, so this could come back to bite me. I would go as far as to say I think that we, in Q4 of 2018, we entered into a buyer's market. I think we'll probably remain in a buyer's market for at least 18 to 24 months. I think the impact of that is, like with most things in property cycles, we're about the 10 years since the last property crash. Whether you use the B word or whether you put it down to Article 100 or Section 24 or the additional stamp duty or an amalgam of all of those issues, there are problems that people need to fix out. There are ways to structure, there are ways to professionalise and go forward in property. You just have to be smart and you have to know what you're doing. And I think that a lot of people are rising to that challenge, especially if you're dealing with property professionals who are entrepreneurial by strength, heart and spirit. That's who they are, that's what they are. I think they're rising to that challenge. There are some institutional landlords that I think are exiting the market. That will create a supply. I think now that we're moving into a buyer's market in 2019, there will be a demand that will hopefully overreach that supply. And when that happens, that starts to pull you out of a property downturn, because once there's more supply than once there is more demand than there is supply, then house prices start going back up again. So the 10 to 12% that we've seen drop in the last 18 months, I would see that probably going forward again, maybe another 5 or 6% drop. That's whilst the buyers are having their fun, but actually once they start overbuying, which people will do because greed is inevitable, we're all human beings, the supply that does enter the market will enter at a premium, and then people will then start having to buy up again, and it's just the ebb and flow, the property transaction trade. But I think that's not just for 2019, that may be all the way up until 2021, but that's the progression I see everything going through. Yeah, that would be my screenshot. 2019, Trends that I think will do really very well will be serviced accommodation and HMOs, because they are very topical at the moment. Commercial property conversions I think is doing really very well. The fact that we're in a housing crisis, not in terms of how much a property costs, but in terms of physical lack of housing, I think a lot of developers, the government, local government, are going to have to be really very entrepreneurial with how they grant planning for people, whether it is reducing a 106 or a SIL or additional unit levies or whatever it is that they're going to do. They need to incentivise people to start building, because there is a growing population and there isn't anywhere to put them. So if it's not 2019, I'd like to see more incentive from local or central government to enable building in an intelligent way, obviously not taking over Greenbelt or National Trust land or anything like that, nothing ridiculous, but just quantitative easing for development to enable people to go and create more quality units. I mean, if you didn't come to the 2019 Development Summit, what you've missed out on are 3 or 4 really high quality developers talking about how they are making changes, how they're building infrastructure and how they're making it quality, and what they're basically adding to the areas that they work in. And those are the kind of people you want to be giving planning permission to, because they're adding value to your community. So for me, that is what I would like to see. I think the very vanilla, single let investor, there's a struggle on the way. It's going to be really very difficult, but that doesn't mean don't do it. There are 1,000,001 ways to make it work, and if you're intuitive and you're enduring, then you will make a difference with it. But I think those buzzwordy kind of property strategies, I think they will do really quite well. And yeah, that's me for 2019, I think.